Welcome back to another episode of the Cash Compound Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Nadeau, and with us today is very special guest, Ryan Hendrick. Welcome back to another episode, and we're gonna have a little fun today, everybody. We've got a good friend of mine, Ryan, joining us on the podcast today. And for those of you who are watching in video land, YouTube, you can see him here. But if you're just listening, he's here. Hey, Ryan, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Jonah?
I'm doing fine. We are gonna actually walk through a few misclassifications maybe about money, and we'll see how you do on them. Now, I put them on the spot. Right? Because you've never seen anything that we talk about privatized banking or infinite banking.
No, I will be a great subject for misclassification.
Okay, that's great. We're going to ask you a few questions. We think probably you've got the same type of mentality and thought process that a lot of people have when we talk to them about money. And so I thought it'd be great to kind of just get your input and see your answers and kind of why you think that. And we'll kind of walk through a few things.
Sounds like a plan.
That sounds good. Okay, before we jump into it, you got to tell the people a little bit about who you are.
Okay. My name's Ryan Hendrick, and I'm married to a wonderful woman named Anna. We've been married for a little less than 2 years now, so that's been a really cool journey. Basically, done a lot of odd jobs growing up and all of that fun stuff. For the last 10 years, I was a pastor, a 5th and 6th grade pastor, and then more recently, I've been in appliance sales.
Okay.
So it's been a very interesting career shift, and I'm still learning things about myself and what I'm trying to seek, and so just trying to learn as much as I can at this point.
I like it. That sounds good. Now tell us a little bit about maybe what you learned about money growing up. So here's really what I'm asking, a little more specific. Was your family the type of family that you saved up for things before you bought them? Like you save up and you pay cash for stuff. My family taught me that. Like you always spend cash, and there's other families who use credit, right, for points or miles. They use it really well. There's some families who don't use it super well, so they just swipe it and hopefully they can afford the payment at the end. Any type of general classification like that for you guys growing up?
More similar to yours.
Okay.
We didn't have a whole lot of money growing up, so my parents were very much, we live within our means and we spend the money that we have and things. We used to make jokes that my mom and dad were the queen and king of garage sales, because they would take cash to garage sales almost every Friday and Saturday.
I like that.
There wasn't extravagant living. We didn't go on very many vacations or anything like that. It was all pretty, eating out. The special dinner was Pizza Hut. I mean,
I gotcha.
So charming childhood.
Yeah.
It was a good one,
and
but
again,
nothing extravagant.
That's how I grew up as well, right? What we've learned a little bit of, which we'll go into here, but what we've learned is if you have a line in the sand, maybe, and that line being like a zero, like nothing, and you save up a bunch of money to get above the line, but then you always just spend your cash. What you're doing is just you save up a little higher, but then you drop back down to zero, right? Then you save up a little bit more, you drop back down to zero.
Yep.
And again, you might not drop all the way to zero. Maybe you drop to 5 and you go back up a little bit and drop to 10, right? But it's not really like you're ever getting ahead. We've just kind of learned that. So I just wanted to know and ask a few questions about who you are and how you grew up.
Cool.
Let's do a little bit of misclassification fun before we get into the banking or money style questions. So I've got 5 questions for you. These are popular things that have been misclassified.
Okay.
So we want to know if you know the real answer. So the first question I've got is, do you know, Ryan, how long was the 100 Years' War?
Wasn't it 80 something years?
You're close. 116, but it wasn't 100, right?
That is not even close. Yeah. I was well below it.
Well, I mean, you knew it wasn't 100.
This is true. This is true. Yes.
So 100 Years' War, actually 116. Okay. What about this? Which country is known for making Panama hats?
Panama hats. What is a Panama hat?
A Panama hat I don't think they're straw. I was going to say straw, not straw. It's one of those hats. This is tough to explain a hat. Oh man, it's a hat. It's got a brim on it. Normally they're going to have a bandana looking thing around the brim. It's kind of going to sit kind of like a fedora little. It's going to sit on the top of your head.
Okay, I'm tracking.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to say Italy.
Okay. That is Ecuador.
Ecuador.
Ecuador is known for making Panama hats. Okay, I got 3 left. From which animal do we get catgut?
Catgut. Sheep.
Sheep and horse. You got that
for
one
real?
right. Yeah. Look at that. All right.
I won for 3.
Very good. Okay, what about this? Camels' hairbrushes are made of
Yak hair.
squirrel fur.
Huh.
Squirrel fur. Not bad. Okay, and what color is the black box on a commercial airplane?
Red.
Orange. You were super close, though.
Close.
1 for 5 is pretty good.
Yeah, and within the ballpark on the others.
That's right. And again, the reason we brought that up is because there's lots of things out there. We just talked about 5, but there's lots of things out there that are actually misclassified. Misclassified. Okay. So I've got 3 money style related questions for you that just might be misclassified. We're going to get your opinion on them and see what you're thinking. Okay. So the first one is actually a scenario. Okay. So here's the scenario. You've got money in a regular, conventional, everyday bank. Let's call it $25,000 you've got in this bank. Okay. And you're earning pretty good interest. Now, I know there's no banks that will give you pretty good interest these days. They don't exist. But let's say that you're earning 4% interest, if that's okay. 4% interest is at the bank. Again, I know it's like 0.004 these days, but let's just assume you found a good one that gives you 4. Okay. And you are interested in buying a new car. So you walk into the bank, just like how you grew up. You're going to withdraw your money from the bank. You're going to go pay cash for your car. One-time purchase. Got $25,000 in there. You're going to buy a $25,000 car. Make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's say I'm the banker. I work at the bank. So I see you walk in. I see you go up to the teller. I see you say, hey, can I withdraw the money? And I overhear it. So I come running out and I go, Ryan, what in the world's going on, man? Are you closing your account? And you go, no, I'm not closing the account. I just want to withdraw the money. I want to go buy the car one payment, right? I don't want payment. I didn't grow up with payments. I didn't like interest, right? Want to go buy the car. And I say, Ryan, no. You got to let me loan you the money. And you say, oh, okay, I like you and all, but no, right? Yeah. I know what you're trying to do. No chance I'm going to let you loan money, but I'll humor you. If I were to get your loan, what's the interest on it? And I say, I'll charge you 6%. Right? I know you're making 4 and all that, but I'll loan you the money and I'll charge you 6%.
Okay.
But I finish up by saying, but don't worry, Ryan, you'll come out ahead. So here's my question for you. Would you call me an honest banker? Am I telling you the truth? Don't take your money out. Do not take it out. Let it sit there. Don't go pay cash for your car. Let me loan you the money. I'll charge you 6%. But don't worry, you'll come out ahead. You'll come out on top.
It doesn't feel true to me.
Doesn't feel true to you. Okay, we've asked this question to a lot of people, right? And most people answer the exact same way that you did. So here's my question for those watching at home. Get a little value from this. Why doesn't it feel true?
Because I am leaving the security of having my, being able to take my money out. I'm earning 4% interest on it, all of that fun stuff. And I'm giving it over to someone else. And then I'm subject to having to pay them extra for the fact that they've lended me money when I could have paid for it straight up. Okay.
I like your answer. So can I summarize a little bit and say, well, if I'm earning 4, but I have to pay 6, I'm losing 2. Like I'm going to lose money. Is that a okay summary?
I didn't say that specifically because I figured that's probably not how the math works.
Okay. No
but
worries.
Logically, that sounds like it would work.
Okay, no problem. So what if I told you that I was actually telling you the truth?
Okay.
It's one of the misconceptions about how money actually works. So let's do a quick math. I've got it up on the screen here for those of you who are watching at home. And if you're just listening to the podcast, you have to follow along, but I'll go slowly, okay? So again, let's replay what happened. You had $25,000 in the bank earning 4%.
Okay.
And I said, don't spend it. I'll loan you $25,000 at 6%. Isn't that what I said?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now we've got to put a term on the car. So what's the average length of time for like a car note?
Is it 5 years?
I like 5 years. Yeah. I like 5 years. So that's 60 months, right? Okay. So 60 months, your payment on that car would be $483.32.
Okay.
Normal car payment. Now, if you multiply $483.32 by 60, you actually get a number that's $28,999. What that means is if you were to take the finance deal, you'd pay $25,000 for the car, but you'd also pay the bank $4,000 of interest. I know it's $3,999, but let's round up. $4,000 of interest. That's the deal that I offered you. Okay. At the same time, so for the same 60 months, this is important. The same 60 months, if you would have left your money in the bank, your balance would have been $30,525.
Okay.
So believe it or not, I think you told me earlier that you went to high school in California. Is that
yes.
right? Okay, cool. So in California, did they teach you that 30,525 is a little higher than 29?
Yeah, actually they did.
Okay, just checking. So I was telling you the truth, but just like you said, it didn't feel like that was going to be right. Right. So what happened? You paid at $4,000 went to the bank. But if you take the difference between $30,525 and $29,000, it's a $1,500 difference, right? So even though you paid someone $4,000, you made $1,500. What happened? You know, if you don't,
what I'm assuming is the percentage that I was making off of what I had just kept in the bank was accumulating enough to where it offset the 6% that I was paying.
That's exactly right. I'll summarize it a little bit easier for those of you who are watching or listening at home. Your bank account balance never went down. It was appreciating. It was going up, starting at 25,000, whereas your car payment started at 25,000, and every time you made a payment, it came down.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So each time I take a bunch of money out of my account, I basically drain my assets.
There it is.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes people call that opportunity cost. You spend your cash or your money or wherever it is now can't make anything. You've still lost. You've lost potential earnings. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's what's going on here. Your bank account balance went up. Your car payment's coming down. If you've got one that's always going up and one that's coming down, well, over time, which one's going to win? The one that's going up. Right?
Yeah.
That's just how it works. Okay. So that was one misconception about money. How are you feeling so far?
I'm not feeling as dumb as I thought I was going to be when you asked me to do this.
Here's the crazy part about it. I really did put you on the spot, right? Like less than 5 minutes before we started filming this podcast, I was like, hey, Ryan, come be on the podcast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. But we wanted to do this because so many people think exactly like you're thinking. That's how we were taught. That's how, whatever it is, the school system, HR at work, our friends, our family, our colleagues, whoever it was who influenced us, that's what they've taught us.
Yeah.
And so that's how we take in new situations. And then all of a sudden, if you learn a little something or pay attention to someone who's explaining it, all of a sudden you go, hold on a second. I can totally earn money at 4 and pay at 6 and come out ahead. I can totally win.
Yes.
But I would have never thought that unless someone walked me through it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I've got a new one for you. You ready? Okay, this one is just a simple question. If you had a choice, what would you rather have? Would you rather have $1 million today, or would you rather have a penny doubled every day for 30 days?
Okay, so that one, I can't remember if it was this scenario exactly, but this was presented to me in school. Okay. And it's a cutoff at 30 days, right?
30 days cutoff.
Yeah, I'm still going to say the penny.
I like the answer. We've asked this a bunch too, and a lot of people go, $1 million. I've been in front of crowds and asked it, and like people are like, million. But you're correct. The right answer here is the penny doubled for 30 days. If you, if you're at home watching, I'll have it up on the screen for you. If you're listening, just pay attention. After 30 days, that penny would compound and double into $5.3 million. So that is well above 1 million, right?
Yes.
Here's the crazy part about it. The $1 million is actually more money for 28 of those 30 days. But because of those last 3, you go from like 1.3 million to 2.6 to 5.3. It's nuts, right? So the first 28 days, the $1 million people are having all the fun. We weren't, right? We didn't have the money. But in the last 3, over the month, right, we killed them.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? So here's what I wanted to point out about the strength of uninterrupted compounding. We've all put our money in places, true or false, that it's not uninterrupted. Like there's fees sometimes, there's taxes other times, or maybe even like we have to take withdrawals. Like that's happened, right?
Absolutely.
So after 30 days, our penny was at 5.3 million. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What would happen to that penny if we had a 2% fee? 2% is pretty modest. Have you ever dealt with any accounts or brokerage fees or qualified financial whoever's that would say like, well, I'll charge a 2% fee? You ever dealt with any of those?
And we're talking about loans and such.
I mean, just in general.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now, a lot of people.
I was trying to think of something specific. Oh, student loans probably would be the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So look at this: 5.3 million after 30 days, but with a 2% fee, you actually end 30 days at 2.9 million.
Oof.
Your 2% fee took $2 million out of the equation because the money's not there to double off that penny. Does that make sense? Not there to double. So if it can't double, you don't finish with 5.3, you finish with 2.9. What about withdrawals? You ever had any accounts where you had to take withdrawals out of them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that happens every day.
All the time.
Right? So instead of 5.3, we're going to take a withdrawal of $100 on day 15 and another $100 on day 25. Okay. So that's a total of $200, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of 5.3 million after 30 days, we finish with 2 million.
Oof.
The $200 withdrawal actually cost you $3.2 million. Why? The money wasn't there to double. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's nuts. Okay, what about taxes? You pay taxes?
Yes.
Okay, just checking, everybody.
I'd pay taxes.
Check them.
Yeah.
Okay, 15% tax. Now, again, 15 is not the highest tax bracket we've got. It's not the lowest either. There's all sorts of different taxes, but I put it at 15. Instead of 5.3 million, you finish 30 days with 559,000. Here's the crazy part. You actually only pay like $182,000 in taxes, but because the 182 isn't there, 182,000 in there, right? It cost you 4.8 million.
Yeah.
How crazy is this? You ready for this? How many times have you been taught, coached, coerced, pushed toward, educated on putting money in places that has fees, taxes, and withdrawals? The ability for that to happen in those places.
All the time. My money's in a bank.
But we just learned that is what's eating it, right?
Yeah.
Those things make a huge impact, right? Mm-hmm. Back to our car example. Why was the $25,000 in the bank higher than what you paid? You didn't take it out. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the question then again is, how in the world can we buy stuff if we're not supposed to take it out, right?
Yeah.
That's the question. And if you guys are asking that question as well, keep watching. Keep watching. We've got those answers coming for you very soon. Okay, we got one more for you. You ready? Okay. The last money is just a little misconception that I want to ask you. The last misconception is about market values. Okay. So have you ever had someone push you toward like putting money in the market? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. A lot of times when they do that, they talk about rates of return.
Yes.
They say like, you can average this number, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. Like I've done really well. That's all they talk about, right? The rate of return. But isn't it true that sometimes the market goes up and sometimes the market goes down?
Crypto is a perfect example of that.
Crypto is a perfect example. Okay. So I've got a question that I want to ask you. It's a little bit of math, but I promise you I'll make it easy. Okay, cool. So let's say you've got $100 and you put it in the market.
Okay.
And you lose 50% in the first year.
Okay.
How much money do you have left? $100.
So, $50?
$50, right?
Okay. I wasn't sure if this was another trick question.
Trying to make it easy for you, okay?
No, you did. Well done.
Okay, cool. And then, so you got $50 now. That's your new principal.
Okay.
And then your next year, you make a 100% return.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So I'm back to 100.
Back to 100. Okay, cool. Now let's do a quick little math here. So we lost 50, and then next year we made 100. So we got to average this out really quick. See what our average return is over 2 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've got negative 50 plus 100. What is that?
That's negative or plus 50.
That's 50, right?
Yeah.
Then we've got to divide by 2 because it happened over 2
25.
years. 25. So your average rate of return was 25%. Let me ask you this. If someone came up to you and said, hey, we're averaging 25%, it's going gangbusters, 25%, would you generally be interested in what they've got to say? Averaging 25%?
I mean, it sounds good.
It sounds good, but let me ask you this question. How much actual money did you make over those 2 years?
None.
You started with 100 and you ended with 100, didn't? So is it okay or safe for me to say maybe average rate of return is not actually what we should be paying attention to here?
Yeah.
Maybe it's actual return, right?
Yeah.
Because 25% average is really good, but if you made no money, then what good is it to you?
Yes.
Right? There's also one more thing I want to touch on, which is called the drawdown effect. And that is understanding. A lot of people miss this. I just want to make sure you get it. A lot of people miss this, is that if you lose money, you actually have to make up more than you lost to get back to where you were. Right? So you got $100 and you lose 10%. How much money do you have now?
I have $90.
$90. Now, if you just earn 10%, what would you be back to?
99.
99. That's not 100. That's not where you started. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can't lose 10 and then go back 10 and think, oh, we're even. We're good.
Yeah. My assets decrease, so the percentage doesn't apply as well.
Like that. Exactly. A lot of people miss this. You lose 10%, you've got to make 11.1 to put you back to where you were, not to get ahead, to put you back to where you were. I talked to someone recently who lost a lot, like 55% in the market over this last few years because of how kind of crazy things have been. And I needed to let them know that they've got to go for like 121% just to get back to where they were.
Woof.
Right? Isn't that nuts? Because you don't think about it like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? And that, of course, is some of the things that happen, misconceptions that we're led to believe when people talk about market and average rate of return. And here's what my portfolio is doing. Sometimes that doesn't actually equate to real dollars.
Yeah.
Right? So those are the misconceptions this afternoon for our podcast episode. What are your thoughts?
That was pretty interesting, actually. Yeah. Okay. And well done. You explained, for not even like trying to stroke your ego here. Sure. You explained it in a way to where it makes sense.
I like that. Very cool. If you've got those same misconceptions and need a little bit of answers to what in the world is going on and what the solution would be, you've got to click the link in our bio. So it's either below or above or wherever you're watching. There's a link to get on our calendar, watch our full presentation, to get on our calendar. We'll walk you through your own misconceptions, what your money is actually doing, the way that cash is actually flowing, and we can help you move forward with our mantra, cracking the code to cash flow and becoming your own banker. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.